I am tired of all these streaming apps.
Oh my God, what's wrong now?
$10 a month, $20 a month, and if you get the no ads plan, it's suddenly triple.
Ugh, yeah, that hurts.
I just want to listen to music without worrying about costs, shuffle it, hear surprises, pay less.
You can.
Wait, what?
This.
Oh, wow, I forgot this song even existed. What app is this?
No app. That's 98.9 The Bull. That's called radio.
Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken heart and soul consciousness. Come journey with us exploring the meaningfulness of astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
This is February 15th. This is Talk Cosmos. I'm Sue Rose Minahan, and we're talking about the Lunar New Year with a fire horse. It's a dynamic year. It's full of transition. It leaps and it ignites, and it's liberating us from dead structures. So I guess you got to get on with the new. You got to strap on, get your buckles, and move forward. We will. We have a wonderful guest, Jen Ing, who is a yellow hat sect astrologer. Let's get started right now. Fire horse, here we go. Thank you.
Talk Cosmos engages unique events during the 3rd and 4th weeks of the month, featuring a myriad of new and returning guests. Joining host and founder Sue Rose Minahan, they co-create to explore and contemplate a wide spectrum of potent subjects. Embark on today's topic within our panorama of guests and insights as we welcome the astrologers for this conversation.
Hello, Jen. How are you? We're on. Do you see?
Hi, Sue. I
Okay.
do. Hi, Sue.
Yay. Yeah, so great to see you. And here we go, fire horse. We have a mutual friend who's a fire horse. And when I found that out, I went, oh, of course. It really brings it home. Well, here I'll talk a little bit and explain to people about Jen. She is jeningress.com. That's where you find her, from Toronto, Canada, and Ontario. And Jen Ing practices the 4 pillars, the Chi and Feng Shui Yellow Hat Sect. Teaches 4 pillars at the International Academy of Astrology. She's a honorary practitioner from the School of Traditional Astrology, an instructor and graduate of International Academy of Astrology, which is IAA, and it's an online astrology. In fact, she just did one with Magna Astro last week, which I'm dying to hear, not dying, but living excitedly to hear. I haven't yet. And she has a medical astrology diploma, just packed with all kinds of qualifications and experience, and teaches. She merges the Western with the Eastern, does synastry, forecasting, as a lecturer. She's an OPA Canadian satellite and the creator and host of Cosmic Pulse podcast. We're both members of Wine Country Speakers, and I am just eager to hear you talk today. Myself, I'm an evolutionary astrologer and working on this exciting weekly adventure since 2018. So let's talk about the Yellow Hat Set. That am I right that it is intent and wisdom that steers the ship here? Jen, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your sect, how to understand.
So there's 4 major schools of Tibetan Buddhism, and the Yellow Hat sect is known or more widely practiced in East Asia, and they use the flying stars, and and they have it's a classical form of feng shui.
Very
and
good.
so there's
Okay.
different kind of sectors that you can or layouts or approaches for the sectors of your space. And so there's one where whatever your front door is, that is south. But the kind that I practice is using a compass, and you're using the directions of magnetic north and south of the Earth.
Thank you. Well, this gives some kind of context. It's a large subject. I'm sorry to throw that out, but it is intent and wisdom. And what I love is that we have the willpower. We can take the reins and move it. So we'll find out what that means more. And I know it's on a luni-solar calendar. That's the combination between the lunar cycle of the moon, which is monthly, it's like clockwork every 29 and a half days. But then the year has, of course, the sun as it moves around. Without going into all this, we have such a packed agenda, but people can be aware of that, and some people would be. But looking at the time zone, I know that it always starts on the 4th in China, when the sun is at the highest, the zenith, the year starts. But it depends when the second new moon starts, which is going to be on the 17th in a few days, 2 days to be exact. So there is this little ambiguous time. So when does a horse really arrive? Is that something we'll find out more? Or is that something that it is on the 17th? Yes. But a child is a horse.
So you're right with the two different calendars. There's a Chinese solar calendar or solar terms, and that's when it starts in the basically between the 3rd and the 6th of each month. Mm-hmm. And so for the tiger in the solar terms, that's February 4th. So I find with the astrology and feng shui, it's February 4th, but culturally, it's celebrated on the lunar new year or the new moon. So culturally, it's February 17th, Tuesday, and I use local time. And however, astrologically, I consider the energy of the fire horse arrived already.
Okay.
We're already in
Well, there we go. There it is. The second new moon after the winter solstice. And it is a yang fire. It alternates yin, yang, which is outward, inward. It's the pulse of life, really. And it is on this eclipse, which we'll talk about a little bit more further on. It, as and others talks have done, it is at 28 degrees and 15 minutes in Aquarius that we have the solar eclipse. So when people say it's a double fire horse, when it's double fire, is that because fire and horse, they both represent fire? Yes?
Yeah, yes. So there are 2 fire animals in the Chinese zodiac, and horse and snake are the 2 animals that carry fire. So they're the 2 fire animals. And then in Batji, there are, in the 4-pillar system, there is a pillar or an animal for each part of a person's birthday. So there's an animal for their year, an animal for their month, an animal for their day, an animal for their hour. And then the second part of that is what we call the heavenly stems. And those are
I think
often,
we'll get to that. But go ahead if you want, because I have a slide. Should we wait a little bit for that in a moment, Jen? Or I'm sorry.
Well, the double part is that there is a heavenly stem for the fire, so the yang fire. So that's why it's double fire, because there's the 5, often translated into the 5 elements, but they're really alchemical in nature. So we have wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And so there's 10 of them because each of them has a yang and a yin, and we're in the yang. So last year we're in the yin wood of the snake, and this year we are in the yang fire with the horse. So we can have yang fire with, there'll be an iteration of yang fire and one of the yang animals, but yang animals being monkey, dog, dragon, for example, or tiger, because the cycle goes across 60 years. So that's why they're calling it a double fire. Because we have 2 elements. We have the yang fire on top, and then horse that inherently carries fire. It's a fire.
I wasn't aware that snake also held that fire. So this is helpful. And they have the story. They're very connected with the story of the Jade Emperor that put the order. And that's where they had the race of the animals, and the first 12 would be the order that they come in. But perhaps we can share with people what the actual story was with the horse, how it came to be the 7th animal. Okay.
Right. So before the horse, the first animal that arrived is the rat, because it was best friends with cat long ago. And when it was announced by the emperor, the cat and rat were best friends, and cat said, knowing it likes to sleep in, said to rat, make sure you wake me up so that we can embark on this race together, because there was only 12 spots. And rat, being a nocturnal animal, set out and let cat sleep. And at the final leg of this race, they had to cross a large riverbank. And rat, knowing it's not a good swimmer, encountered ox and negotiated with ox that, knowing ox was a good swimmer, rat hitched a ride with ox. And right as they were crossing on the other side, rat jumped off and got first place. And that's why ox is second place. And then tiger, rabbit came next, and then dragon. But horse, being very swift and powerful with a lot of stamina, was about to finish after dragon, but snake was kind of wrapped around its hoof and startled the horse, and horses can get easily startled. And as it was startled, it kind of went back on its hind legs, and snake took that opportunity and secured 6th place. So that is why horse comes after the snake.
And is there, well, perhaps later we can know this, but is there some kind of a hidden snake? Is it really learning how to adjust with sudden events that this year will require from us, that might be like a surprise? And of course, we'll look at the chart. It has Uranus. Maybe we should save that question. But is there something that represents the snakes of sudden, or is it just sudden surprises? That's what it is.
Well, I would assign that more to the double fire, meaning with the yang energy, the yang fire is said to be the strongest of all the yang elements. It's represented by an inferno or our burning sun, and that's a lot of power. And you can't really deny something that's just ablaze everywhere. And so with those qualities comes very a lot of dynamic, fast movement, expansion. And there is a saying in mining, like in the miners, fire in the hole, and meaning that there's going to be a fire in the hole and it's going to be a big, explosion. So that can be unpredictable when something is when fire, because fire consumes oxygen, and it's not a it's a very dynamic, explosive, quick, fire can, right.
Yes,
and it's
is
a sign of leadership. And then the horse is a powerful animal that is known for its speed and agility.
Indeed. So it's independent. It loves freedom. It's sociable too. That's what I was researching a little bit. And I thought, well, isn't that wonderful? That it wants to not just consume, but engage. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the horses love to talk. Any kind of platform, they love to have a conversation and talk. So expect negotiations, speeches, performances, anything, conversations, so connections.
Oh, good. Dreaming up all those new adventures. The worst is impatience, really that instinctive, just like Aries or fire, it wants to go ahead. Well, now here I do.
Well, that comes more from the yang fire. They can be a bit impatient, but so can yang wood, which was what we had 2 years ago in with the dragon in 2024.
Yes, and you were on then, folks. There'll be a link for that to check. So here are these 4 pillars of destiny, the Bachi, if I'm saying it right. Mm-hmm. And it is 60 years, and of course it's very ancient. It is these 2 segments. And here again are those pillars that you had mentioned, where in all actuality, it's the day that really brings the core of the individual. That's always surprises me. And the month is for career and ambition. So it's almost like in the Western horoscope, where the sun is our overall, like a nation of identity, but then we have our other factors of placements that indicate who we are. But here with this system, the day has real prominence.
Yes. And at the same time, it's the interaction between all the pieces of the Bachi as well.
Okay. So with them, as you had mentioned, and for people, the stems are 5 elements. It brings in a little different idea here, but it is fire, water, wood, metal, earth, and it cycles either constructively or destructively, as everything, life is a matter of evolution. There's lots of little changes, and that's the only thing we can expect, is that energy doesn't, like Einstein says, only reforms itself. So how does it reform? Well, it has to break down in order to reform. So we understand this, but that's why we have a yin and a yang, we could say. And the branches are the 12 animals. Is there something, should I go to the next one, Jen, or did you want to make a comment about, because I think this one here shows this cycle. Perhaps you can.
Yes, so the wood is fast growing, and it can be represented by the development stages of a life. So wood would be the first 12 years of life. So from infancy to 12. And then, so wood, it symbolizes ambition, progress and ambition, but not career necessarily, just growth, like learning. And in the 12 years, there's a lot of growth that happens in development and learning and expansion. It's also very creative. And fire can represent 12 to 24, which is still fast changes from adolescence to early adulthood. And that is when people are still forming their identity, finishing secondary school, and for pursuing other post-secondary training. And then Earth can be represented by 24 to 36 years of life, which is a little bit more stabilizing. Fire feeds in or creates Earth. If you think of a fire, after it's extinguished, or a campfire, you have ashes that are left. So fire creates Earth. And then from Earth, we mine metals. We get minerals that are found in rocks. So Earth creates metal, and then metal gives rise to water, and then water feeds wood.
So then, metal would be go ahead. I was going to say 36 to probably 1248, and then water is 48 to 60. Okay.
Yeah. And metal is more retractive or solidified, and it's preparing for the final end of the cycle from 48 to 60, which is more reflective. And then the cycle of 60 begins again. So those friends of yours who are in the Yang fire horse, they are turning, they can be turning any factor of 12, whether it's 96, 84, 72, 60, 48, 24, 12.
Wow. A whole new cycle. That's very exciting. That age of 60, especially for those that are fire horses, brand new charter. That's fantastic. These next two slides are going to be for people's, we're going to take a little getaway break in a few minutes, but generally it shows, just as Jen was expanding on about the process of how one builds on the other and that relationship generating, and then the other one weakens or restrains that and puts it out so people can see that. We have a couple of questions. Maybe we can just sit back here and I'll love to hear, Jen, what you're thinking. But there are thoughts with some of these elements, why it's great for a wood. Wood is so great because I guess it feeds, it has that natural earth creating, anyway, and then metal may not feel, the different ideas. Any thoughts on any of this?
So for this year, the wood animals are tiger and rabbit. And this would be a really good year. What this suggests is for the tiger that generally feels like it can take on any challenge. This is going to be a year where it can really shine and take on any kind of challenge, creativity. It's going to be putting itself out there because wood gives rise to fire. So it's releasing its energy, its creativity. And as well for rabbit. So those are the wood animals. And if your day pillar is of wood, it can be of a similar theme, where this is a good year if you are trying to market yourself or produce something that suggests it's going to happen this year for you.
Oh boy, these are great tidbits for people to understand, because this energy really does work and we get exactly what we need. I guess we'll take a little moment here to get away when we can and come back, because we have much more with Jen Ing, which is jeningress.com, folks, remember? And thank you. So get your little coffee or water, whatever you need, and return with us. And we'll see you in just a moment. Thanks.
While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. We are currently in the Yang period of Aquarius, ruled modernly by Uranus, and Saturn in traditional astrology by the ancients. By leaving a cycle based on governing structures through both man-made and universal laws, Aquarius breaks established patterns, permitting the energy of freedom, just as its ruling planet Uranus spins on its side and orbits backwards. As a fixed air sign represented by the water bearer pouring the spirit of cosmic energy, Aquarius seeks to find like-minded, intuitively aligned souls to connect in social groups for the elevation and improvement of all.
This is psychological astrologer Dr. Now.Chat. Please join me and Michelle Fleming March 14th through the 21st for Evolutionary Training's annual Goddess Awakening Retreat in Playa El Coco, Nicaragua. Enjoy daily yoga, well-being workshops, baby sea turtles, and more. To register, go to mythicsky.com.
Talk Cosmos ignites insightful conversations to awaken heart and soul consciousness with hour-long programs every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific on KKNW. Also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click their like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. You can listen to earlier podcasts since 2018, either on most podcast carriers or under the video tab on Talk Cosmos YouTube. To join our expedition and find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com and launch your week into the cosmic wonder.
This is Martha Norwalk, every Sunday morning beginning at 9 a.m. Thanks in part to Natasha Venter at intuitiveclarifications.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, it's an encore presentation. Tune in to hear Best Practitioner Linda Rasmussen. She helped callers and their animal friends with energy balancing, and you can receive a surrogate healing just by listening and following along with her instructions. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
Organic, free range, and fresh daily. Alternative Talk 1150.
Hi again, we are back, and we'll just, so I think I'll share that Jen Ing again can be found at jeningress.com, and these are a few of the wonderful talks that she has given about this passion, the concept of this experience of the past years. Pardon me, I'm muddle mouth, aren't I? So we had the green wood snake, we had the wood dragon, and we had the water rabbit. Really a fascinating journey as we go along. And of course, these spread from NCGR to Gemini Brett last year. so you can enjoy these links. And Jen, do you have like your your podcast pulse? Is there another event coming up? I know you didn't put one down, but how do people get a hold of that on your website?
You can do a search through the Cosmic Pulse podcast. It's had a bit of a pause this past year.
Okay. Well, it'll be fun when it happens. So Talk Cosmos every week, and these are a few that might pique your interest. One is, of course, the Capricorn Venus star point, which will stay until we get the next one in Scorpio next autumn that Louise Eddington will return to talk about. But that point of 16 degrees Capricorn, keep in your charts. Meanwhile, this Saturn-Neptune awakening that's happening following this, that we're really, how can we stop talking about it? There was one conversation with Dr. Stormy Grace, and there'll be another one next week with vibrational astrology, Linda Berry, master astrologer. And then next week will be the Aquarius solar eclipse. No, that was last week. Oh my goodness, that's happening in a couple of days. So there you go. Let's get back to the fire horse. It's every 60 years. The first one in our last century was in 1906, then it was 1966, and then, of course, this year, all in fire. And this shows the other progressive years in earth, metal, water, and wood that you can go through, and shows a little bit about what their focus would be that Jen also brought.
It's interesting to think back to 1966 and 1906, because it was a period where there were tensions and conflicts, and the Vietnam War that was 20 years, 1966, it really escalated. In 1906, there were themes more similar to our current world stage, where Germany and France were jockeying for resources in Morocco, and a few years before, Japan and Russia had been at war over Manchuria, and that established Japan as a very powerful military empire. And in Russia, there was the enactment of their first Duma, which is their legislation. So the beginning of a constitution and democracy, opposed to the Tsar, I think Nicholas the second or third.
The last Tsar of Russia.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that was a very kind of pinnacle period. And so in 2026, we have kind of Russia at the forefront. And as well, there was a crisis that involved Egypt and Palestine. So we have Palestine again, Palestine and Russia at the forefront in 2026 because of the buildup.
There are themes that do bleed and continue through. Not exact, but very important to understand. And it is this courage to act without consensus, we might say. And the emerging, there's such a combination happening now that consciousness is uncharted in a sense, yet it has full opportunity, I will say, to speak, as you were mentioning earlier, and to bring these focuses up. Because, for instance, in 1906, with that fire in San Francisco, people had to reject the old basis of how to structure a city and come up with new terms. So we'll see. And there was new music back in the 60s too. Fantastic, with rock and roll and whatnot, alternative health and etc. But it is global. It is so true. We are definitely not bridging, we're bridges going expansion out.
And if I could quickly add with the fire, there's a lot of visibility and creativity that continues from the wood cycle. So with the Beatlemania and the Beach Boys, that revolutionary music, it just like caught fire, right? It spread like wildfire. So
it did, and very poetic. It was very creative. People really were all creating their own songs and singing their own songs or singing other people's songs. It was, life seemed to be a tempo where it was what's happening. Well, what's the new song?
There was also a lot of community and
or not, but hopefully the audience's experience is the same with that, despite mine flashing away like a strobe light here. Let's look a little bit, just briefly. Oh, and Jen, is your microphone unplugged? It says that's what Nate, you might notice that he said something. But there's a lot of air and fire as we're conscious of, because the outer planets are returning to their from their retrograde cycle, briefly returning to old cycles to ignite their new cycles. Pluto, of course, has stayed in Aquarius, which is an air sign, but Uranus is going to, in April, go back to Gemini for its 7-year cycle, where it's conjunct Sedna, which is a 50-year cycle in Gemini. Jupiter, well, not Jupiter, but it shows here that there'll be a lot of air and fire without going into all those details. People can see, because it really does expand this idea. And I guess returning the idea of visibility, as you were saying, which could be on the downside burnout, which really needs earth energy, doesn't it? Because that'll help. And how do we, there's that idea. Let's see, I'm flipping too fast here. Let's go back.
It really depends on the makeup of the elements or phases of a chart. So if you have a lot of wood, then this is like a lucky or good year for you. It's going to be a year where, like I was saying earlier, for visibility, marketing, creativity, putting yourself out there, being seen. Now, if you're Earth and you need more fire, this is also a good year for you, because this is your lucky element for fire. But if you don't have a lot of wood, or you have a lot of earth already, this could be a year where, things just don't feel so comfortable or balanced. If we're following the system of the yin yang, where whenever you have day, there's a little bit of the opposite. And whenever you have night, there's a little bit of the opposite. So the idea is you always want to counter with a little bit of either what you need or what you don't have. Sorry, let me rephrase that. If you need more of something, you that's your lucky element. But if you already have an abundance of an element, you need an outlet for that. So whatever that element is, that's going to release the abundance that you have, that those elements are going to be your lucky elements. It's not going to be.
It's a homogeneous.
That's also this system, part of the Yellow Hat sect. And the what first came to North America in the 80s or late 60s, or got more popular in the 80s, is of the Black Hat sect. And from what I understand, it's a little bit more subjective. Subjective to the practitioner.
Okay. It is a solar eclipse at 28 degrees, 50 minutes of Aquarius on the same day, and Eastern time on the 17th. That'll be at 7:01 a.m. And it, solar eclipses by their nature, with just like I've been experiencing here with computers and whatnot, is like a strobe light. The light blocks out, it reboots. It's a big change, transformation. And just as I've got written here, the light is disrupted. So it's really living in the present. And I think, and I say that because of the chart. In the chart, we have, of course, the sun and moon are together at 28 degrees. And it's in a action-oriented aspect, a square, as we know in astrology, but that's action. It's not good, it's not bad, it just wants to move. And it's with Uranus, which is the planet of suddenness, of the moment right now. What is sudden? It's happening now. That's vibrational astrology thinking, and I love that. And so it can have all these other attributes, because the moment may not be what you expect. It could be sudden, it can be surprise. It seems like the astrology of the moment has really emphasized what this story is about. Get ready to be able to be versatile and adjust and emotionally be kind to yourself, because we are human. But along with that, there's a flow between how we're thinking with Mercury and Jupiter. So all this information is just giving us more conceptual ideas with Jupiter in its Cancerian mode. And of course, Jupiter is going to flip over to, not flip, but ingress, as like your name, here it goes, into Leo in the middle of the year. But we're still experiencing this personal Cancerian idea of how to make home comfortable and what our roots are and our emotions and etc. But it seems part and parcel of this whole, the nature of what the fire year, is bringing about. Sorry,
and 2026 numerologically is a solar number, so that ties into the fire horse here with the fire, because the sun is a big ball of burning fire.
Yes, giving out. Well, looking at that, this is always full of controversy in a sense. Usually the new moon is a great time to bring up invocations or resolutions for the period. With eclipses, people go, no, stop, which in a sense is that you're really intaking and you're waiting to go forward. But with resolutions, because this is a lunar new year for the whole year, there's this idea that an eclipse brings your resolutions so many more, 1,000 times more powerful. Do you have any feedback on that idea, or how that might?
I can't see why what the harm is, right? If you're making a resolution and there's a possibility of it being 1,000 times more powerful, then why not?
Yes.
What can you lose?
Yeah, and it's fire too. Everything is like a go ahead, and it's the moment. I think isn't that beautiful? I like that, Jen. Thank you.
Because and I love that image of the horse. It's so powerful. It's just so shows the power and the stamina and all that muscle and that focus. So this year there's going to be a lot of, this is a good year to just take action with a plan to gallop towards that finish line or those goals.
And the highlight, and it's direct, isn't it? It's like straight ahead. It's not deviating or anything. It's like it's very determined and focused.
And another theme or quality of the horse is it's got an artistic appreciation or an artistry about it. So this is a good year to focus on that or develop, whether it's appreciation, go to those shows or engage in whatever art. This is a good year for that. So we can expect new trailblazers in the scene of arts and entertainment, as well as technology, because fire is technology.
And to each one of us, we can always express that. Now, there is another part in looking at this. There's what they call secret friends, but the allies, and the goat here and the horse, that together they mitigate each other. One has the willpower and the speed, and the other is wisdom and grounding. And ultimately, can we make this?
They complement each other. Yeah, they bring out the best combination. It's like the best of both together. So the goat this year is quite favored because of the horse.
And July is the goat month?
Yes. And another thing that is another theme that echoes, or events, world events that echoes the theme of the horse is competition, fair competition. And so we kicked off the new year, or the year of the horse, with the winter Milano Cortina Olympics.
Yes. Oh, that's
and
right.
There was something recently, I believe on Saturday, with curling between Sweden and Canada. And, Canada being not taking a criticism from the Swedish team of double touching the stone. And the horse is really about fair play. And then in June, July, we have the World Cup, Soccer World Cup every 4 years. So there's some big competitions for this year for the horse. So this is a good year for fair play, fair competition, because that's what the horse is about, as well as causes, like social causes.
That's honesty. That goes so well with this upcoming Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries, because being honesty is a huge factor with Aries. And again, I go back to vibrational astrology, what David Cochran has found out, but it's that identity. It's by being truly engaged with what the moment is and their identity, and knowing where they're coming, others knowing where they are coming from. And that would be on an honest scale to really focus on it. It all intertwines, and it has real strength, because that way the present, you can count, you can trust on the present moment being what you see. What you see is what you get. Yeah, I like it.
And the horse is very sensitive and attuned to the emotional state of its surroundings. It could be, there's equine therapy offered by different First Nations cultures.
For combat veterans, it's also, there's places that do take people onto the horse. And I know, yes, it's super. Here's some ally pairs for people that might be interested, like what's mine or yours or their loved ones or somebody. But it's the rat and ox, tiger, pig, dragon, rooster, snake, monkey, and horse, goat. Yes. And of the three, well, maybe you can say these better than I can. This is like a few prayers of because there is a mythical dragon horse spirit. It's this vibrant energy, unstoppable drive. Yeah.
Yes, they originally felt the dragon was connected or came from the horse or related to the horse. And in Cantonese is Gongpei Fat Choi, which is just Fat Choi is wealth. And so wishing you, good things this year.
Yeah.
And what the reason why it's called the Pillars of Destiny is all forms of astrology have a fundamental common premise, is that the cosmos imprint or affect or influence events on here on Earth. And so a birth is one of those events, and there are different levels of fate in the Chinese connected to the Trinity. And fate, you could consider your birth or birthday as fated because we don't have any control over the time or conscious control. I mean, if you believe in your soul picking or deciding, but most of us don't walk around feeling like we picked the circumstances of our birth or day or time that we were born. So that's the one part of destiny. The other part, which if you think of it on a sliding scale of destiny, is complete lack of control, and it's like fated. That's our 4 pillars or our natal chart. And then for the Chinese, we have
salute. It's okay.
That sneeze was fated. And then so the second level is feng shui, where we try to arrange our space to bring in good energy or chi or luck. So there you have a little bit more control. And then the third layer is our free will, that of the individual. So the actions we take, the good deeds we do, the kind of meditations or study and thoughts that we have can help influence desired outcomes. So there is those 3 layers of luck.
Yes. Meaning that for the fire horse, are there certain kinds of meditations that, because that could create, as it's been suggested, that goat energy of wisdom and grounding, regardless. So to bring in any kind of meditation, or does the yellow hat sect have certain kinds of
there are Tibetan chants and practices. It does come with like a dedicated lifestyle, like usually vegetarian, and a kind of regimented or disciplined practice. I think any kind of affirmation for oneself, or I like Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu, which I think there's two that I do, and I hope I'm not getting them mixed up at the moment. But one is, may all beings be happy.
Oh, Jen, that ends us with the perfect part, because we have control of our feelings, and they are habits, as much as one needs to realize that, and just the emphasis and desire, the intent, because we live by feeling. If we intend to feel that joy, then we can share it and get through some of whatever competitions, whatever, and experience the adventure of life here that we are bound to have. It's really a pleasure. Yes,
Thank you so much,
Jen.
Sue. Likewise.
Yeah. So go to jeningras.com. Yeah, very good. And to all.
Thank you for joining this vibrant and insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her guests awaken consciousness by connecting heart and soul consciousness patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.